All right, we are going to be talking about creating thank you and download pages for today. We're going to be talking about the very important process of going through, thank you pages, meaning the pages that your customers get to after they subscribe to your products, as in buy your products, or maybe the thank you page that your potential leads or subscribers get to after they opt in for a free report or free video series, whatever you might be giving away. Then we're also going to discuss download pages, how you set those up, how you link those products up, and some different things you can do to ensure that your customers and your subscribers have a good experience, because that in itself ends up being your profit generator when you have your own products and when you're actually trying to list build. So it's a very important topic here, and we're going to cover step by step these different processes. First, there are a couple of free resources that are needed to make this happen, and I want to emphasize that these are free. So we're not asking anybody to go out and purchase an expensive HTML software. There is a perfectly fine software out there called Composer. You can actually see how it's spelled on your screen. It's not spelled how you think it should be spelled. It is spelled Kompozer, and that is composer.net. So that is one thing that you definitely need. And I would recommend that you go out and actually make a note of that and make sure you have that tool. It's a free HTML editor. It's basically what it is, it allows you to create web pages for those that are not sure what it does. If you're familiar at all with maybe Microsoft Front Page or anything like that, Microsoft Front Page, Dreamweaver, any of the more popular ones, that is exactly what Composer is. And so it's really helpful if you actually have a web editor, and this one's completely free. It's an open source software, and the great thing about it is it works for both Macs and PC, so it works great for everybody. And that is Composer, absolutely free, composer.net. So first step is to make sure you have a copy of this, or if you have a copy of Front Page, that's great. You don't need this one. But if you need an HTML editor, here is one that is free. The next resource you need to make this work is you actually need FileZilla, which is actually an FTP client, which basically FTP just stands for File Transfer Protocol. But for to lay it out a little easier for you to understand, it's basically a tool that enables you to get files from your computer, so files that you've created, maybe it's web page files, maybe it's pictures, maybe it's videos. It basically allows you to get content from your computer, stuff from your computer. It enables you to actually put it up onto the web, up onto the internet, the World Wide Web, so that people could download it, people can view your web pages, they can view your download pages. That's what FTP does. So that is what we're talking about here. You need these two resources. And if you're having a hard time with these domain names because they aren't the easiest, the best thing you can do is just go to Google and do a search for FileZilla, or do a search for Composer, spelled with a K and a Z in it, not a C-O-M, it's spelled with a K, Composer, and then FileZilla. Just do a Google search for those, and you definitely need these two tools to make things happen. So, and now that we've covered that, let's jump in and explain a little bit about the object here of thank you pages and why we have them. Basically, your thank you pages should provide an experience consistent with the initial experience and future experiences that your customers are going to have. So this could include a similar look and feel. It doesn't have to, but it does actually help. You'll see a lot of times when you buy a product and say they had a certain header image, or maybe they just had a plain white background, for their sales page, which is very popular. A lot of sales pages are very clean and simple like that, and they convert great. And so their download pages are the exact same way. I know a lot of marketers, still go with that. Some marketers choose to have graphics, but you'll notice that they tend to be consistent no matter what. And the reason you do that, it basically, it's a lot easier for your customers to relate to you. It's got your logo on there. It's got maybe your e-covers. It's got your name, so they kind of can relate and understand, okay, this is what I just subscribed for, this is what I just bought, that kind of thing. You basically, on your thank you page, it's going to be the first page they get after they either buy from you or after they subscribe to your list. First thing is, usually you have a thank you page if somebody were to buy a product from you. They would go to like a thank you page that you've all seen that says, thank you for purchasing, here's the next steps, or thank you for subscribing, or thank you for your interest in this report, here's the next step. It's very important that you explain to them what just happened, what happens next, and what, if anything, they need to do next, which in most cases, as we'll discuss, most cases, the next steps after they've purchased or subscribed to your list is to actually go to their inbox and confirm that they did want to subscribe or confirm that they did make a purchase. And basically all that does is that helps get them on your list so that you can promote to them later, so you can send them updates, so you can do those kinds of things. But it's a very important step of the marketing process, and it's extremely important that you have that part in place. Your thank you page doesn't always have to be, a page, that makes them go and confirm their email either. It could necessarily be a page that just says, hey, thank you for your purchase. Your downloads are below. That's fine just as well. But your thank you page should be the first page they get after they buy or after they subscribe. There's no, one right way to do this. You can rely solely on text. You can add images and even use audio and video to get your message across. Some marketers choose videos. Most people, that's always been done. It's typically text. So if you're sitting there going, I don't feel comfortable doing videos, that's great. Not everybody does. Just do it text. It can be, there's really, like we said, there's no right or wrong way to make this happen. So you just need a page that tells customers, this is what just happened. It puts them at ease, and it will actually reduce your refunds. So your thank you page answers questions for your customers. So after implementing the desired action, you're requesting your new customers or subscriber wants to know a few more things. They really want to know what just happened once they gave you your name and email. Are they really subscribed or are they not? So that's where you need to clarify to them, hey, you're not quite subscribed yet to get your free gift. So that's why you need to confirm your email. And after you do that, then we'll automatically email you the download link. What's going to happen next? Sometimes something I need to do, or, the next move is yours, that kind of thing. They sometimes want to know, when do I get my first email from you? When do I get what I just signed up for? How will it come to me? What's it going to look like so I recognize it? So it's those kind of things, you want to give your customers, put them at ease. So you may not have to answer every one of those, but you might want to just make sure your thank you page basically tells them, hey, after you confirm your email, you will be sent a follow-up message with your download link. And on that page, that's where you'll access your purchase. Or, after you click the link, we'll automatically redirect you to the download page so you can start going through the training. Whatever the process is, make sure your customers know what that is on the thank you page, because that's very, very important. It's also essential that on your thank you page you have your contact email address. An email address or a support desk, either one is going to help you immensely if you can do that. So what do I now what do I do now to make sure I get what I signed up for? Those are kind of things your customers want to know. Your thank you page should answer these kind of questions so your customers have no doubts in their mind, so that your support is minimalized because you answered these questions ahead of time. If you just gave them a page, that just said, hey, make sure you confirm or something like that, that would work okay, but it's not going to be as effective as if you said, hey, after you confirm, you're going to get these things, because then they know what to expect, and you are already basically getting them to, relate to what you have going on. So that's the important thing. That's the basics of a thank you page. Thank you pages point the direction of where to go. Thank them for subscribing. Always thank them for subscribing. Always thank them for buying. It's just goodwill. It's common business. But thank you goes a long way. It makes them feel good. It usually points out the next step or direction. So keep that in mind, and you'll be on the right track here. So we're going to be showing you actually some examples of thank you pages and what you can do to make them better. You want to be very careful with your thank you page wording. A thank you is usually given in return and is looked at possibly being a final step. So what's the next move? And you might do things like, hey, there's just a few more steps. Great, thank you for doing this. I need to ensure, that you wanted these kinds of things, all that. So make sure, again, that your customers know the process and what's expected of them. Here's actually an example thank you page, which will actually show you how to set that up, where to put your thank you pages and things like that. But basically, your thank you page, this is a very good example one. It basically, draws out the very important part, which is, hey, to protect your privacy, we just need to make sure that you confirm this. And you're making it as a benefit to them, because you're saying, hey, we're here to protect you. We care about you. We don't want, we want to make sure you actually wanted this. So, make sure that you go and actually confirm so that we can send you what you were interested in, whether it was buying or subscribing. So here's an example. If you're wondering, okay, so these thank you pages are great, but how do I get my customers or my subscribers, from Aweber? So after they subscribe, how does this kind of mix up with Aweber or GetResponse or any of the major autoresponders? Well, in this picture here, we're actually showing you what Aweber does to make this happen. It's actually very simple. It's about a 3-step process here, or 5-step process. The first step, you actually go out to the web forms on your Aweber. So if you're looking at Aweber, which is the example we're going to be demonstrating live, because most people have Aweber, for their autoresponders. So you want to go to your web form, and you want to go and set up your actual web form. So once you do the step 1, you do your design, you want to go to settings within your web form. So they give you like a 3-step process at the top. You design, you do the settings, and then you publish. That's how WordPress works. Or excuse me, Aweber works when you're setting up your autoresponder forms. So you basically want to go into your settings. After you go into your settings, the next thing that you want to do is go on down to where it says select custom page from the drop down menu where it says thank you page. You'll see where it says thank you page, and that's where you actually want to go in there and choose if you want to have a smart video version, which basically the smart video version is Aweber's version of a thank you page. The main downside of that one is just that it's very commonly used by people. Most people, it's very commonly used. Sometimes it doesn't get as great of a response. It's not personal, things like that. So it's usually best if you can do your own custom page. You'll get a higher rate of people possibly confirming. You could always go with the smart version or the basic version from Aweber, but it doesn't give people that personal touch, especially if they've bought something from you. It's really wise to make sure you have your own custom page, just from a standpoint, a marketing standpoint. But we're doing technical here, so there's 3 options that you can actually do. There's 4 options there. One's to stay on the current page, but you don't want people to subscribe and then stay on the current page, because that can, that can cause some things to happen where they go, okay, well I just signed up for this, but what's next? They don't know what's next. So it's very wise if you make sure that you try to give them a custom page. So you want to choose step 3, which is select a custom page. And as we'll show you in just a few minutes, once you've set up your thank you page, which I'll show you a great example coming up here, you actually would input the direct URL for that thank you page. So this would be the page that we discussed where it answers all those questions. So as soon as they sign up, they're going to be directed to this thank you page. And this is where you enter the URL to the custom thank you page. The final step is then just to save it. So it's basically a 5-step process, very, very simple. We're actually going to show you live how to do this exact process, but I did want to show this to you here on the PowerPoint so you kind of understand how this is going to work and how this whole funnel works together. So after they've gone through the process of subscribing, they go to their thank you page, which tells them the next steps. The most important page of the process, they're all very important pages, but obviously the most important page to your customer or subscriber is the download page. They want to get what they purchased. They want to get what they subscribed for free. They want something, in return for giving you their email or in return for paying you. That's just how it is. So make sure that you thank them for their purchase. Very common. Below are your downloads. Make sure it's very, very clear. That you make it very clear, very simple for them to download their product. If you make it too hard, it's going to make people angry. They might end up refunding. They might clog up your support desk. It's just not worth it. It's easier if you can make it, much more simpler for them to follow. You might want to have a welcome video. You don't have to, but you may want to do something like that. Best thing you can do is instruct them again on the next steps. Hey, right click on the link below and save it to your computer, something like that. So you can see a good example here of a download page. The important thing is that you make sure people understand, thank you for your purchase. You might want to, and the reason you want to make sure you address these points is that people want to make sure their payments went through too. So it's very important you thank them for their purchase, or tell them, your order has been received and processed, and give them, the instructions for downloading. Give them their downloads. That's what they're there for. So it's very, very important that you lay all that out there for them. Now there are some things you can do actually with your download pages, which actually makes them seem a little more attractive, I'm sure, is it actually allows your customers, makes them look cleaner. You can give your customers things called unadvertised bonuses, on your download pages, or you don't even have to make them unadvertised bonuses. You can just make them straight affiliate links to products that relate to the product they bought from you. Maybe it relates to the product, maybe it relates to a product that you're an affiliate for, something like that, maybe they subscribed to a report on dog training. So you would want to, in return, maybe recommend a good product on ClickBank that's, for people interested in dog training. In an unadvertised bonus, there are certain affiliate programs out there, and you can find them from different marketers. They have these programs where they actually give away stuff for free, and then after people put in their name and email, and sign up for whatever that marketer is giving away, they get access to something for free, and then that marketer will sell them on something. Well, if they ended up buying, you might make 50% commissions on that. So let's say, for every 10 people that come to your download page, let's say 3 people decide to go through that process, and out of those 3 people, one of those 3 people ends up buying something. Well, you could see how your profit could increase. So that means, maybe 10% of your buyers, subscribers, all that ends up making you more money on that process. And all you've done nothing more as far as extra work goes. It basically just increases your profits, increases your revenues, and makes this marketing process a little easier for you. So it's very important that you might want to consider doing unadvertised bonuses on download pages, and we'll touch on that briefly so you can kind of see how that's going to work and function. So another thing that you need is an Aweber confirmation success page. And what that basically does is this basically, for those wondering what it is, it's basically the page that your customers are directed to after they click on, after they go to your thank you page, and it instructs them to go to their email. You'll probably recall, because you've probably subscribed to several lists, you get a message basically saying, hey, make sure you click on this link to confirm. Well, once they confirm, you need to make sure they're going to a certain page. And in the case of them buying from you, or in the case of them, subscribing to you, it's definitely almost all the time going to be the download page. Now, there's things you can put in the middle there, like one-time offers and things of that nature. But for this particular training, we're just going to cover the logistics of setting up a download page, how your links should be so that they can download, how this whole funnel works so that people can get from subscribing or buying to downloading, because that's the most important step right now. And then later on in this series, we'll cover how to do one-time offers and things of that nature. But your success page is basically just the page that they go to after they click on the confirm message that they get in your email. So that's what that process is. So custom confirmation page benefits, it gives you greater control over where your new subscribers or customers are sent after they confirm. And you really want to make sure that you're sending them somewhere at least in the main direction of getting their product, because that's what they purchase. So you don't want to make it harder on them than it should be. You want to make sure that they're not sent to a default page. You want to make sure you have a custom confirmation page, and so we'll show you how to set that up within Aweber. So use the custom confirmation page, make sure that they know their subscription's been created, or that they have, this is where they download what they signed up for. Keep your website branding consistent, provide links to download pages or bonuses, and add a special offer page or one-time offer. And again, on this training, we won't cover one-time offers or special offer pages, but we'll mainly cover, the benefit from A to Z, from subscribing or buying to downloading, because that's most important. Clickable download links. You want to make sure that your download pages have clickable links, obviously, because if they're not clickable, your customers aren't going to be able to download their products. So here's an example of what a clickable download link might look like. You'll see here, this is basically HTML code. The good thing for you is that you do not need to know or memorize this code that you're looking at, because it can look very scary, because the editor, HTML editor, the Composer editor, really actually allows you and enables you to go ahead and go on in there and create these clickable links. But basically, you're going to see here where it says www.domainname.com/video.zip. That means the file that they're downloading, whether it's a video, an ebook, anything you're selling or giving away, it's more than likely going to be in a zip file. And that's most common. So it's going to always be the domain name, and then wherever you've put those set of downloads. It might be in a separate subfolder. It might, so for example, if you had a folder called downloads, it would look something like yourdomain.com/downloads/ the file name, which in this case is video.zip. Okay, so that is exactly how the download page process works. Now, you can do several things here. You can actually allow them to open a download link, or excuse me, not a download link, but an actual, if it was like an extra download page you had, maybe you have a video course that maybe has 20 videos with it, and you didn't want to list all 20 videos on that one page, so maybe you wanted it to open up in a new window. That's what that other option is. If you're working with zip files in this example, you're not going to be able to actually, by default, they're just going to open up and allow people to save them, So these links are set up, especially with zip files, so if people right click, they can actually, go in and download and save the files to their computer, because that's ultimately what's most important here. So that there is the process of clickable download links. And so we're going to cover how to set those up, but it's really, really important that you understand it's going to go your website, yourdomainname.com. So the URL of your website.com / and then you do downloads or whatever folder you put it in, or just like this, if you put it in the main directory, and I'll show you how directories work, then it's going to be the file name. So your file name has to be in the link if you want it to be able to be downloaded, and that's super, super important to understand. So that's actually what we have for this part of the training. So actually what I'm going to do now is jump in, and thank you for attending this part of the training. We're actually going to jump in now and do all this live on the screen, so you can actually see how this is done. So we're going to start with the thank you page and kind of go through that process, and I'll show you how to use Composer and how to use FileZilla to actually upload that content. So we're going to jump off the screen here. Okay, so what you've got up here, opened up here, is actually a thank you page. This is another good example of a thank you page. You basically, want to thank people and give them, thank them for their interest in the report or whatever, or thank them for their business, and tell them that they have one important step. So this is an example of a thank you page, and this would be the process they go through after they've gone through the steps of actually, registering or buying whatever file it might be. Okay, so this is really here, what a thank you page is going to look like. So in order to set that up, we are going to be doing some things within Aweber, but first what we're going to do is actually jump on in here and open up Composer, and make this, go ahead and open up Composer here. So this will take just a moment here. So Composer, if you will recall, is actually the file that we talked about. It's basically, Composer is the HTML software program that really allows you to actually go in here and edit and actually set up your download pages. So to open up Composer, you're going to actually get a big download from them, and you open up Composer by clicking on the world logo that they actually give you there, and that will actually open up Composer for you. Okay, so once you have Composer open, if let's say you're working with a template, for example, or if you want to start from scratch, that's fine too. So for this example, we're just going to start from scratch, and then we'll actually open up from a template so you can kind of see how it comes together. But one of the most important things here is it's really, it's called a what you see is what you get editor, meaning what you do on the screen is what you more than likely are going to end up with. So by default, this is just a very basic, page. It's very blank. There's not much going on here and things like that. So what you want to do is come on over here and you want to center it. So it's just like if you're working in a Word document, you might want to center it so it kind of sticks out. You may want to give it some space so it doesn't all get run to the top of the page, or if you want it to be there, that's fine too. And you can put in, the first instructions. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing, or thank you for buying if they were a customer of yours. And you can play around with the font if you want. You can come on in here and go to Format Font and change it to maybe Arial, for example. You can make the font larger by just clicking the up key, or you could go to Format and choose the size, kind of like if you're working in Microsoft Word. That's the beauty of this. It's like working with Microsoft Word documents and things like that. You could italicize it, different things like that. And then you could put, you have one more important step to receive your free downloads. So all you're doing is just putting your mouse and typing. Very, very simple. So you put your mouse in there, you type away, and then you come in here and format the page after you've added all the content. And then it's really important and wise, in my opinion, to do like a bulleted list or give them like an option, you know. So step number 1, check your email. And confirm your email address. And then you can just go on to step number 2, list out the next step. You know, after clicking, you will be emailed the download link. Or after clicking, you'll be redirected there, different things like that. Questions, maybe give them an option if they have questions. And then put your link, support@yourdomain.com. And then you could also put a phone number if you really wanted to get that technical. But most important thing is that you do a support desk or support email. And honestly, this page right here would be enough to have a subscription page. It's very simple. And actually, in just a few minutes here, I actually just created this page for you. It's a very simple page. Now, like we said earlier, it is helpful if you can stick with your branding. But hey, if you used a white background for your squeeze page, which a lot of marketers do, then this would be consistent with your branding. That's perfectly fine. So, I mean, this right here would work out great. One other suggestion you might want to add here is maybe like an image, like let's say an image of the product that they just downloaded. And if you wanted to add an image, you can come in here to where it says image, and then you can actually use this folder and then just browse around on your computer for a particular picture that you could actually import and upload right on in there. So, the image could be like, maybe you had an ebook cover on the page where they, you know, maybe you had an ebook cover, for example, on the squeeze page, or you had an ebook cover with the product they purchased, something like that. And so, you know, you basically want to keep with that branding so that they can resonate with, okay, that's the picture I'm familiar with, or maybe it's a picture of you on there, something like that. So this would work as a very basic subscriber page, a very basic thank you page or buying page. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your purchase. Thank you for your business. Things like that work out great. Now, after you've created this page, it's important that you save it. So let's just go here, click on File, Save As, and it'll ask you for a title of the page. So for a thank you page, you do not want to do SEO stuff for a thank you page. So it's probably going to ask you for your page title or your title tags, and you're going to say, you know, hey, I've, you know, been told by other marketers that it's important to have good title tags with keywords. It's very important to do that, but your thank you page, confirm pages, download pages, you do not want to have good title tags on any of those pages because you do not want the search engines to find them. So do not name them with your product name because the search engines might find it. You want to make sure you name these pages with something generic like thank you, or an even safer way is to just put a dash. That might be the easiest way, and that's going to be your title tag. So what you want to do here is come on down and actually save this to your computer. So let's just open this up here, and we're going to save this file name, and we will call this thank you page. So you could actually say instead of thank you, you could call, say, TY and then put in some numbers, TY123, and then hit save. And then it's automatically going to save that as a .html file. So there's your thank you page right here. It just took a few moments to create. You thank them for subscribing. You tell them what the next steps are, whether it's 2 steps or 3 steps, whatever it is. And then you make sure they know that there's one more important step. You know, and you can do things to make that stand out more, but this in a nutshell is the basics that you need. So this would be, you know, like a good example thank you page. If you wanted to have, you know, maybe a page that's more maybe more attractive, maybe it has more on it. You could do stuff like, put in, make sure it's your domain name in there. And you can see how this is still a very basic page, but you added more colors to it. You made the font red, so if I wanted to change this color here, I could come on in here, go to Format, Text Color, and then pick my color. Very simple. You notice how super simple and easy that was, and it made quite a bit of difference to actually do that. So, there's several ways. Like this one, for example, does a great job of making this part stick out, like the please check your email. Like we didn't add that part, so we could do that here. Please check your email now. And then you could actually make that consistent with the font by highlighting that, choosing the font. Let's say we want to go with font here and Arial font, and we want to make that stand out a little bit bigger, and you could underline it and then come in here and let's say we want to make that like a red color. So we'll just come on down here, make that red just like the headline was. Please check your email now, and that way it sticks out. Or if you think that's too direct, please check your email, you could just keep it like that. But you can see here, these are just some ideas, and whenever you make a change to the page, just click on the Save button, just like you would if you were typing in a Word document, for example. So after you've done that, you basically tell them maybe what what they're going to get. You need to confirm that you want these, and in this case, you'll be emailed the download link or anything like that. So this one's more of a this one's got a little more content on it. It tells them basically what the subject line is going to say. That's a very important thing that you could add to your thank you pages. And so that's super important. It actually tells them some steps to take if they have not gotten their email. So it gives them some steps like, hey, if for some reason you haven't gotten the email, maybe it's in your junk folder, maybe it's in things like that. These are all very good things that you could actually add on here. But this one would do the trick. It's very basic. All I did was open up and I just centered the text and I just started typing away in there. And this one will do the trick. But if you want to add in more things, you could add things like, frequently asked questions, like, some ideas. Check your spam, junk, or bulk mail folders if you haven't gotten it. Make sure you whitelist our email address. Make sure they understand that they will not receive the product without confirming. In this particular one, where it actually says right here, if you have not, you'll receive an email from this address. That way they know what to look for, and it will say the subject line will read response required, which is what Aweber does in most cases, or even GetResponse and other autoresponders. So that way they know what to be looking for, and so it will actually end up increasing the chances that they might click and actually, confirm, because that's ultimately what you want. That's what they want. Everybody's happy that way. So now that you've got your thank you page created and you actually understand how to create it with Composer, we need to actually upload the thank you page using FileZilla, and then after we've uploaded it, it's time to actually tie it in with our Aweber account so that we can actually have the custom thank you page that's so important. So you've created your thank you page. Now it's time to upload it. So you want to upload FileZilla, and remember, you should have already downloaded FileZilla. So right now FileZilla is saying I need updates, but we're just going to go with it like it is now. So what you want to do here is just open up FileZilla, which is the file transfer protocol. It's going to ask you for some very basic information. It'll ask for your host, which is more than likely going to be your domain name. It's going to be the main domain on the account that you set up. As you'll recall, in some other parts of technical training with internet marketing, you've probably learned that putting in your domain name, the main domain that you set up with your hosting account, whether it's Bluehost, HostGator, IX Web Hosting, any major hosting company, you're just going to put in yourdomain.com. Then you'll put in your username, which is sometimes provided by your host, or it's have something to do with your initial domain, and then the password is either a password you set or they set for you. In any case, the host username password is all going to be available from your web hosting company. Every hosting company is slightly different in how they deliver it to you. HostGator, for example, will send you an email when you first open your account with all this information. The reason HostGator and Bluehost and major hosting companies are recommended is basically for the fact that they're very important in that they'll give you 24/7 support. So if at any time you're doing this process, you have a question about those things, you can call them and they can give that to you, and then you can save it for future use so you don't have to call back again. But that's where you can actually put in this information, and then you only have to do that once because FileZilla will actually save it for you. And in fact, you can actually come up here to where these little computers are within FileZilla and actually open up, just click on that, and then you can click here where it says new site. You can put in your host, your username, which your logon type would be normal, and then so you're going to put in your host, which is going to be your domain. So it'll be typically yourdomain.com. Server type will be FTP. Logon type will be normal. Username would be your username. Password is password. And then account, you actually don't need to fill that one in. That one you don't need to fill in. So your username and password by your host. And then simply click on OK. And then for future reference, then all you have to do is just come up here and go boom, and you're logged into your hosting just like I just did for that example. So I just come up here after I've input that information one time, and now I'm actually on my web host already connected. I want to actually lay out a few ground rules here so you kind of understand what you're looking at here. What you see here, and all I'm doing here is just expanding the screen. So if you decide you want to increase the screen, just drag your mouse over here to the side and you can actually expand it and make it a little bit bigger so it's easier to view. So what you want to do here, you've got the right hand side, which is going to be your web host, the left hand side, which is going to be your computer. So your computer, your web hosting company. You want to get files from here to here. Very simple. As long as you understand that concept, this actually is going to be very simple for you to understand how this all works. If for some reason you're having a hard time reading these, you can come up here and they make it really simple. You can actually expand that and retract it and things like that. So you just need to put your mouse until you get these different symbols so you can actually work with it and make it bigger or smaller. In most cases, whether it's HostGator, Bluehost, and other major hosting companies, most of the time your work is going to be done in the folder called public HTML. So after you connect to your web hosting company, it's going to take you to a page and it's going to actually ask you, you're actually going to be in public HTML. So that's what we're going to choose here. I've just clicked on public HTML right there. And what you've actually got here, you're going to see a whole bunch, typically quite a few files in here. And that's because this hosting company in particular, this particular account, has got several websites tied in with it. So there's several websites actually that are actually with and actually a part of this particular hosting company. So meaning that if you've added on domain names, you'll probably see all your domain names in here. HostGator, Bluehost, again, all those hosting companies allow you to have unlimited domains. So you can have 50 domains and they're all going to be separate folders like in this example. Or you're going to have your main, what we're looking at here is actually the main directory. So that's the domain name, the URL, the website address, if you will, where you actually set up that account. That's the website address where everything is going to be. So it's very, very important that you understand that concept. So what we've got here is all of this information right in here. So we've got our domain name. So let's go on in here and let's actually find a domain that we want to work on here. So let's just go in here and we'll actually just choose, for this example, we'll just go with the main domain name. So we're just going to go with the main domain, which is actually what we see after we click on public HTML. So for this example, we want to actually set up our thank you page. Now the thank you page doesn't necessarily have to be secure because you don't have any downloads on it. So the thank you page you don't really need to hide in a folder and things like that so people can't find it. The thank you page basically can just be out in the open in your main directory. So it could look like yourdomain.com / the URL of the thank you page, which you'll see is what we actually created. So I'm going to come over here on my computer and look through the document section for what we actually just created. So I'm going to go here and we are going to pull open that file that we just worked with. Left hand side, this is organized kind of like if you were to attach pictures to an email and simple things of that nature. So I'm coming on over here and looking for the folder that we just created this in. And there it is. And there's actually the file that we actually just created, ty123.html. That's the thank you page. So all I'm going to do is highlight it, right click, and choose upload. So again, I clicked on it, right click and upload, or I could click on it and then double click, and that will actually load it up to the web hosting company. So now what we've got here, we've got our thank you page that's now live. Now if you want to test that out, here's what you would do. You would come up here and you would go to yourdomain.com. You go to yourdomain.com, and then what you're going to do next is just go ahead and put in that thank you page. So there it is. There's that thank you page that we just created. So after this would be the URL. What you see up here in the browser here is actually the URL that you would put into Aweber as your thank you page. So let's log into Aweber and I'll show you exactly how that process works. So all I did here was upload it. Remember when we saved this file over here, we went to File, Save As. It asked us what we wanted to name, and it asked us to save as type HTML file, which it did by default. That's why I added the .html. That's what's so cool about this program. I named it whatever you want to name it. You could call it thank you. If you wanted to, then it would be thankyou.html. After you've uploaded that thank you page to your hosting company, wherever you've uploaded it, you're just going to go to yourdomain.com / there it is. Or if it was in a subfolder, it might look like yourdomain.com / so this would be your domain in this example. Yourdomain.com / let's say free, if that was like a freebie that you were giving away, or maybe that was one of your products, product 1. So let's say yourdomain.com / product 1, and then there it was uploaded. And if that was the case, for example, I could come on over here, right click, and choose create directory, and that's going to create a new folder for me to call maybe, let's say, product 1. And then from there, I come down here and I could actually install this into the product 1 folder if that's what we were, let's say that's our product and we're putting everything related to product 1 in one folder, maybe product 2 had another folder, and we decided to keep them all under the same exact domain name. So you would just look for that folder you just created and then upload the thank you page by right clicking, choosing upload. There it will appear there, so it's now in our hosting company. And now if I were to refresh that, it would actually go here and actually be open. So there it is. So yourdomain.com / product 1 / ty123.html. So what this means to you, in case you're wondering, is that any subfolders always has to be in the domain name if you've uploaded your files, whether it's your pictures or anything. If you've uploaded them directly to your host, then you need to link directly to them. So if you put them in a folder, that folder name has to actually appear in the URL. And that's why with a lot of links you see / in them. So you see the domain, so their main domain, you see maybe a folder name, then you'll see a /, you'll see a file name, with like .html, .zip, .pdf, different things like that, and that's the direct file name within a particular folder. You don't have to use folders, but you can if you want. And as I'll show you in a moment here with download pages, you really want to get to using folders because it can help actually keep things secure for you. So what you're going to do here next is just simply come on in here, and we are going to go ahead and log into Aweber here. So this will take just a moment here, and we will log on in. Okay, so what you're going to do here is pick your particular, go ahead and come on in here and pick whichever, whichever squeeze page or list that you're actually going to be working with. So I'm just going to select the list here that I want to be working with, and I'm going to come down here to where it says web forms, for example, and I'm just going to go in here, and then I'm going to choose under my web forms we want to come in here and we might want to create a new web form, for example. So there it is. You've got your new, web form. It's going to ask you to, create your branding with it. We're just going to go with the generic web form. Later on, we'll cover more in depth of how to, work with Aweber here when designing forms and things like that. But you really want to go in here, choose the list you're working with, select web forms, and then you want to go into where it says design and then settings. Your form name, that's just going to be, whatever you've chosen to call it. The thank you page, this is where we're getting at here for this example. This is where you put in the thank you page link. It's going to say under the settings area, which will be option, settings number 2. You have your form name, so you call this squeeze page 1, or you call this download page 1, or buy page, customer page 1, customer page, and the product name if you want to do that, however you want to do that. So they give you 4 options here. They've got a basic version, which is set up by Aweber. They've got an audio version. There's 5 versions. The audio version is again created by Aweber, and then the smart video version, it basically allows them to see how the confirmation process will work. The only problem with those other 3 is they're not very personal, and you'll oftentimes get a much better response by going with the custom page using your own URL. So that's what we're going to do here, is go to a custom page using our own URL, our own link. And that is exactly what we've set up here. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste this directly on in here. So this right here that I've created here is now my thank you page. So as soon as customers sign up for this page, whether it's been as a free page that they landed on, the squeeze page that they went to, or whether it was a page where they went to a squeeze page thanking them for buying, this is the page they're going to go to. This will be the page they land on as soon as they put in their name and email. So next thing you're going to do is just simply choose Save Web Form, and then it's going to ask you to go to the next step, which is basically just to publish your form online. And we'll cover that in a later training session, but that is where you deal with your thank you page. So what I just showed you there was how to set up your thank you page. Now we're going to go through the process of actually setting up a confirmed page, or not a confirmed page, but actually a success page, or a page where they'll go to as a for successfully confirming their information. So it could be called a confirm page, and this would be like the download page, if you will. So just like before, we need to go into Composer and actually work on creating step by step, creating our own download page, and we'll kind of show you how that's going to work. Now before you create your actual download page, you do need to actually upload some of your content. So you do need to upload your content. So what I'm going to do here now is we're just going to jump on in here, and we are going to go over to our FileZilla. So we're going to go to our FileZilla here, and what we want to do here is we want to upload some part of our particular product that we are working with. We actually want to upload that to our hosting company so people can actually download it. Now before you actually even get to the process of uploading, it is very important that you actually have your file in a zip folder, or at least you know what the file extension is going to be. In most cases, and when I say file extensions, it would be like .pdf, .html, .doc for Word documents, things like that. What we're looking at here is a PDF file for a particular product. Like let's just say this is an ebook that you were selling. All you need to do here now is right click, and you want to go to Send to Compressed Zip Folder. You don't need software to do this. You can do it just with Microsoft Windows. If you happen to be using a Mac, you can actually right click on it, and it will actually allow you to compress it in a zip folder automatically as well. I'm simply right clicking, and you're going to go Send to Compressed Zip Folder. There you go. Now we've got a zipped file to actually work with. So what I'm going to do here now is to refresh that change I just made. I'm just going to click out of that, and on the left hand side, this is on my computer, I need to find the files that my customers are going to download as their thank you for subscribing, or their thank you for buying. Either way, those files need to be uploaded before we can do the thank you page, because obviously we have to have a reference point of where to link them. So we need to make sure we know exactly where that file is going to be loaded. So you'll see here now, we now have a zip file already loaded up. Now, one important thing here is if for some reason it comes through with uppercase and lowercase letters, the best thing you can do that's advisable is to go ahead and actually make them all lowercase instead of uppercase and lowercase mixed. It's best to make them all lowercase just because you might run into issues with it going the other way. So it's best if you can do that. It's not saying you need to rush back and change all your links, but it will make your life easier in the long run, because every once in a while you run into a snag where somebody may not be able to download it, or a hosting company may not talk and doesn't like uppercase letters. Most of the time it's not going to be considered differently, but in most cases it's just good practice to make all your file names lowercase. It's the best, going to save you a lot of headache. So now that we've done that, we've got our zip file. We now need to upload that to a particular product or download type folder. So it's best here, if you go into your main hosting here, it's the best thing you can do is to actually come on in here and try to actually come up with something that is not going to be easy for people to guess. And also, so you want to stay away from something like download, but you also want to make sure it's not too hard to where you always forget what it is, because obviously your customers are just going to be clicking on a link, so they don't need to remember the entire link to the download page. So you want to come in here to your main domain name, which is going to be after you click on public HTML. Right click, and I recommend you create a new directory. Doing this, most people get fret and they say, well, how do you secure your download pages? I don't want to do this because I don't want people are just going to steal from me. Unfortunately, people steal online all the time. That's just part of it. But some ways you can prevent it is to put your download files and your download pages into like a separate subfolder that actually is a name that's going to be kind of obscure that most people aren't going to guess. In most cases, it's typically not even going to get found by people in a lot of cases. Sometimes it may end up happening, and if that happens, all you have to do is just change the file name. It's very, very easy, and then just simply update your customers on what just happened. And most of the time, customers have no problem. You're not really going to have anybody complain, if you protect what they've purchased. So what you're going to do here is come on in here, and you don't need fancy software. You don't need to password protect things, and in all actuality, password protecting is good to a point, but if you do decide to password protect a directory, just keep in mind you're going to create a lot of customer support issues. The best thing you can do is put it into like an obscure folder, and in most cases put it into an obscure folder, and do not put a link to your download page anywhere on the internet. Do not put a link to your download page again anywhere on the internet. That means don't accidentally copy it into a forum, don't put it on a social bookmarking site, don't do anything, because as long as if Google sees a link going to your obscure folder, then they might end up indexing it. But in most cases, they're not going to index it if you put it in a weird folder. They may or may not find it. And that's why you also put in some preventative measures, like put in the hyphen for the title tag on your download and thank you pages, so that search engines, if they do happen to index it, it's still hard for people to find it. So it's very important that you do those measures. What we're going to do here is create a new directory. We're going to call it something kind of obscure for this example. This is where we need to upload all of our files. We are going to go ahead and go in here, come up with something like DL underscore, DL for download, for example, 7823. Let's just say 78. Let's just go, there you go. DL underscore 7823. Go ahead and click on OK. And you're going to look for that. It's going to come in alphabetical order. That's the folder. Now we're going to upload our zipped up file here. We're going to upload our zipped file. So I'm just going to come on in here and upload this particular zip file. I'm going to right click and upload. And you'll see as it uploads, it's a little larger file. So it's going to take it a little bit of time for it to get up onto the server. So you just have to be patient. You don't have to sit here and watch it. If you have a huge file, you can go off and eat lunch or do whatever you need to do and wait for it to load up. Okay, so this file is going to be loaded up in just a second here. Now, what you want to do here now is remember the file that you just created. So here's what your download page link is going to look like. you need to open up a notepad file, for example. So just open up a notepad file so you can keep notes of these things. And it'll be your domain.com / the name of the folder. And I would start off with www / the name of that folder, which in this case was DL underscore, and let's see here exactly what it was, 7823. And then you're going to upload the file, and in this case you'll see here the full file name. So it's going to be Infinite Profits full.zip. You'll see it's a zip file. So it's your domain, the folder you put it in, and the actual file name with the file extension. That's how you're going to link this up for your customers on the actual download page. Now that we have that in here, what I need to show you now is one other process, one other type of file that people deal with online here that you do need to know how to make this work for you. And that particular file is actually dealing with videos. You'll notice a lot of videos actually, there's a lot of videos, and if you want your customers to be able to, let's say, watch the videos online instead of actually download the videos to their computer, if you want them to download it, you can see here there's a zip file. You could just have your customers download and they could watch the videos on their machine. Now if you want the customers to actually watch the videos live on the web hosting company, you want to come in here and let's just pull this up here. So let's say you have a course that you bought private label rights to or something like that, and you were going to you wanted to come in here and basically your customers are going to be given a file with the videos where if they were to download it, they can click on the HTML file and actually watch the video, or they click on the MP4 and watch the video. Your customers would click on that, they could watch the video. But if you want to, you can actually take this particular file and actually upload it directly to your hosting company, and then your customers could actually watch the video online instead of having to download it, which could be a lot less hassle for you in the long run. So in order to make that happen, you have your download folder. You want to come on in here and go to your video folder. So all the files where your videos are, so that they're web ready, for example. And this only works for web ready videos, which most PLR video packages will give you web ready versions that all you have to do is upload. That's how most of them operate. So we're going to come in here, and you just want to come on in here and actually upload this entire folder. So this is going to take just a moment. You'll see here the progress down here. It actually uploads things fairly quickly depending on what your connection is and how big the files are. So it might take a few minutes, it might take a while, but regardless, it's going to upload everything here, which will take just a little bit of time. So while that is going on, you could actually be going through the process of creating your download page, which is what we're going to do here for this example. So we're done with our thank you page, so let's just close that tab. So you can come in here, choose if you want to save it. Let's just not save that one. But we'll actually save this one. And we're going to use this thank you page as an actual template for our download page. And I'll show you how to transform this thank you page template that we already worked on creating into a download page template that's very simple for you to go through the process. So what you're going to do here is simply go to File, Save As, and now you want to call your download page, you want to call it something very obscure, something just like that folder that's not going to be easily recognized. So you want to do something like DL683 or something like that, let's just say. And you don't have to come up with all these cryptic codes. It will help you though, as far as people not being able to access your stuff in the wrong or things like that. So what you're going to do here now, transform this subscription page that you already have as kind of a template. It'll say thank you for your business. Your downloads are below, or your product is below, if you want to say that. Your product is below. You want to make sure that you have your support that's easily accessible. So there you've got it. Questions. That could be your email or your support desk. Make sure that's very easy for them to find. Okay? You might want to put in some instructions. Please find your downloads below. Your business is greatly appreciated and valued. Okay, so we're just going to plug that in there. And in order to download the video or the product, please write, and you always want to be polite, obviously, please right click and choose Save Target As. Okay, and that'll tell your customers to right click and how to download the file. To watch the videos, because I'm going to show you how to actually link up the videos here, to watch the videos, simply click on them and they will open in a new browser. Now you might be wondering why I'm boring you with all these details, but I really want to show you the important steps that the important topics that really need to be covered on these actual download pages, because it's very important that your customers understand how to actually watch what they've actually invested in. So that's very, very important to them. Okay, so what I've got here, thank you for your business, your product is below, and then I give them some instructions. Please find the downloads below, and we go through the process. So we can call this, let's say we separate it into folders. Let's just call this ebook number 1, for example. Let's say you sold them like an ebook and then a video was part of what they purchased. So let's say you call it ebook training. So you want to make it stand out with another headline, and then you can put download ebook, and then you can put the title there. And you can play with the font again, just format font. And now what you need to do here, remember this notepad file, makes it very, very easy. We actually have this link right on in here. I'm going to download the ebook by right-clicking, choosing Insert Link, and I'm going to come on in here and link this up. Now I'm changing this over so it's my direct link, and we're going to choose OK on this, and now you'll notice that that is now clickable. Now if you want to make that bold so it stands out, that's fine too. You can make that a little bit bigger because that's important. And then you could actually just copy this right here and move this down here, because we're going to have a video, and we'll actually call that the video. Okay, so we'll call this video training. And you can obviously call this whatever you want to where it makes sense. It's just very important that your customers can access it. I would recommend that you put in a picture here, so I would very recommend that a picture of like the ebook cover goes here, because that would really help kind of clean up this page some. Picture of e-cover would go there. Picture of e-cover of the video. If you had one. If you did not have any pictures, that's fine too. And then we're just going to create a page that says watch video online, or you could say watch the title of the video, whatever it is, watch dog training for beginners, or whatever it is, so there's our question section, and you might want to make that bold. And since we've done all this, let's just come back up here, make sure we save our changes so far, and let's see how this is coming along. You'll notice now that this has actually been all uploaded for us. Now what you're going to see here, actually within this folder here, you're actually going to see that this folder was actually uploaded. It's not in a zip file, but it's actual folder, and that means we're going to need to point to a particular file in order for this to stand up for us. So what I'm going to do here is copy and paste this full link into my address bar, and I'm going to go to that folder where we've uploaded our products. I'm going to actually go to this folder here, so that'll take just a moment. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is what the download page is, or excuse me, this is what the folder where the files are uploaded is going to look like for the time being. Now, if you're working with a video, the only reason I'm showing you this is because it's going to make your life a little bit easier, because it's going to actually take you to a section where within that folder there's all these other files, and you need to link to one of these files. In the case of a video, you need to link to the actual HTML file if you're working with most PLR videos, which give you a web-ready version, which is very popular nowadays, as you know. So we're going to actually click on that, and now you see here the direct link where people can actually watch the entire video online. They can actually link up and watch this video straight from their computer without having to download it and open it up on their machine. So that's what we've got here. So that's, would be step one, overview Amazon affiliate, if that was what the product was. So I'm going to come in here, copy that, and then I'm going to come here where it says watch video online. We'll make that bold. We'll make it stick out, make it a little bit bigger. Next thing I'll do is come up here, either choose insert link, or I'll go to link right here. And I'm going to just paste in this direct link. Paste in this direct link, which is a direct link to the file where the video will play. Now where it says target, you want to choose the link is to be opened in a new window. That will actually allow your video to open in a new window, which is important. And go ahead and choose OK. And after you do that, you should see a hyperlink. It's blue and underlined. And I would keep your hyperlinks blue and underlined. That's what people are used to. So now come on up here, click on save. And the next thing you're going to do is upload this download page to the, basically take this download page and upload it directly, to your hosting company. Now, the only optional step here is if you wanted to, you could actually add in something here. Like if you want to move your questions up here, that's fine too, to make your support a little easier, a little more accessible. So let's just come in here, and you could say customer support. So that way people can instantly see the support there. And then right in this section, you could actually have your unadvertised bonuses. You could have affiliate banners could go down here and things like that. So you can actually create a room down here where you could have 2 or 3 different products that relate to your product that they purchased, or actually that they ended up getting for free online, whatever the case might be here. You're actually going to give them access, right here. So that's what, the next step would be to add in things like your unadvertised bonus if you had them. If you had things like terms and conditions, those could also go down here. But this right here, it's very plain, but it's a very basic download page. So I'm going to come here and actually click on save now that we're done here, and we're going to upload this download page here that we are working from. So remember, we called it DL683, and we've created a folder called DL7823. So there we have it. Okay, so there is that folder. Now what we are going to do here is come on in here and go right up here to where that file is, and we're going to call it, it's called DL, and let's remember what we called it, DL683.html, DL683. There it is. This is our download page. Or confirm page, whatever you want to call it. That is exactly what it is. So now you've got here your confirm page, or your thank you page, or download page right here. So you're going to grab this link and copy it, and you're going to come back over here to your Aweber account. You're going to go to your list, whether it's your buyers list or your subscribers list. Choose my list, go to list settings, and you're going to, after you put in your information for your list, you're going to choose confirmed opt-in. Then scroll to the bottom, and you're going to put in your confirmation success page, which in this case, would be your actual download page. That's where that would go. So after people have subscribed, they are actually going to come on in here, and let's just save this page here for future. So I'm going to recopy that, and we're going to paste that in here. and then you're just going to simply choose Save List Settings. So all that's happened here is you've got your actual download page here. You're just copying the page, link to your download page, to the confirmation success page inside Aweber's list settings. And that means after they opt in, they're going to go to that thank you page that was first created. After they go through the steps and confirm, meaning they go to their email, click confirm, they are now going to be redirected to whatever URL is found here on Aweber in the success page, which in this case is your actual download page, which is exactly what you want it to be. So, and after you save it, this is what it's going to look like. Successfully save settings, and now you're done. Okay, so now you've got your download pages, your thank you pages all set up. So now you should be in a position to where you can do your sales copy and get your website in place so that you can actually start getting people to be able to download the files. Now, one thing you do want to check, you do want to make sure that people, like this would be your picture here of your e-cover and things like that, you want to make sure the downloads work. So I'm just going to click on it, and you'll notice here it's asking me to download the file, which is great. In this case, if people wanted to watch the video, this is what's going to happen now, and it will load up and people can now watch the video within the web browser. So now we've accomplished everything we wanted to accomplish here with this particular training.